Hello, my name's Elijah Wells, and yesterday the Oscar nominations came out, and it's already a massive big deal, particularly for Ryan Coogler's Sinner, as in the movie has broken the record for the most Oscar nominations of all time, as in 16, as in it beat La La Land, Titanic, and All About Eve, which got 14. But there's a new category of Best Casting, the first new category in 25 years, but we'll get to that later. But it's already a big deal, so congratulations to Warner Brothers, Ryan Coogler, and Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and all the rest of the cast and crew of the movie Sinners. We applaud you for how much of a record-breaking feat that you just accomplished, regardless if you came out empty-handed or you come out winning everything in the award ceremony, but we applaud you. And for Best Picture, we have Magnolia, Frankenstein, F1 aka Formula 1, Hamnet, My Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, like I've already mentioned, and Train Dreams. Again, I think Sinners already, given the extraordinary amount of boost, I imagine it could win, but I'm still hoping that One Battle After Another could win. If it's something that I personally do really like, I'm hoping One Battle After Another would win, but deep down, I think, given how huge amount of number that Sinners has got, I think Sinners could be actually winning this, but it's definitely down to these two, really, so at gunpoint, I think One Battle After Another is going to win for Best Picture. And also, what's very surprising is that there's quite a lot of big snubs already, like Avatar and Wicked not nominated for the Best Picture, despite the fact that they were both nominated for Best Picture in their previous installments. Particularly for Avatar, where it's the first James Cameron film to not get nominated for Best Picture since True Lies, and Wicked, despite having the first one with 10 nominations, this one already came out empty-handed, like 0 nominations whatsoever. But however, for Best Actor, it's My Supreme's Timothée Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio's One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Mouri for The Secret Agent. Again, what's also pretty surprising is that Paul Mescal from Hamnet is not even nominated in this category, which I found very surprising. And also Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who I did say that he did a knockout performance in a Smashing Machine, which does get nominated for makeup. But out of these categories, the big three at the moment are Wagner Mouri for Secret Agent, and as well as Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio, but also Michael B. Jordan from Sinners, who is definitely posing a really strong threat, knowing what we know now from the nominations. But I'm hoping that Leonardo DiCaprio would win for One Battle After Another, but I'm keeping a keen eye out for Wagner Mouri for Secret Agent. For Best Actress, there is Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renee Redzepi for Sentimental Value, Emma Stone for Magnolia. Another pretty big snub at the moment is that Ariana Grande and Sophia Riva were not nominated whatsoever, even though they did give pretty good performances in Wicked 2. And also Chase Infinity from One Battle After Another, who I was holding out that she was hopefully going to get a nomination in Best Actress, but she was nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. But again, even though I definitely like Jessie Buckley from Hamnet, but I think who I'm really backing for this one is Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You to win for Best Actress. For Best Supporting Actress, there's Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Igna Itzdotter Islalis for Sentimental Value again, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Warner Mozozak for Sinners, and Tanya Taylor for One Battle After Another. Again, I am still backing for Igna to win for Sentimental Value, but I am definitely understanding a little bit more that Tanya Taylor for One Battle After Another could win, even though I'm very hesitant to back her just on sole purpose that she was only in the movie for like 20 minutes, and the film's runtime was like 2 hours 40 minutes. So even though she had a small amount of screen time, she had impact in the film was undeniably huge. So I think I'm sticking with Igna for Sentimental Value for now, but we'll wait and see. For Best Supporting Actor, there's Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Deroy Lindo for Sinners, and Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Well, I forgot to mention that even Haley Steinfeld didn't get nominated for Best Actress, which is the one category that Sinners could have been nominated for, but didn't get the nomination, unfortunately, even though she did perform well in that film. But back to supporting actor. Some incredible talent in this movie. It could go for Sean Penn, who could make it a triple after like Milk and Mystic River. Benicio del Toro could make it a double after Traffic. And some first timers like Jacob Lordy and Daniel D.L. Lindo, who are first timers, as well as even Stellan Skarsgård, who is one of the biggest, who was for a very long time one of the biggest names to not get nominated for an Oscar. But that's not happened anymore because he's now nominated for one for sentimental value. Again, I am going back for Sean Penn for one battle after another, but I am keeping an eye out for Stellan Skarsgård if he's going to catch more momentum for Best Supporting Actor. But I'm sticking with Sean Penn for now. For Best Director, we have Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, John Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. I'm hedging my bets that P.T. Anderson would win for One Battle After Another, even though I'm definitely understanding why a lot of people are backing Ryan Coogler to win for Sinners, particularly his previous efforts with Black Panther and Creed have garnered him a lot of attention, and he, of course, got his first Best Director nomination out of that. He's also, again, extremely consequential in the Oscars, particularly in the two Black Panther films. Like, the first one was the first superhero movie to get a Best Picture nomination, and the second one, Wakanda Forever, was the first one and currently the only MCU movie, if I remember top of my head, to get an acting nomination, being for Angela Bassett. And also Paul Thomas Anderson, again, one of the best filmmakers to not yet win an Oscar, who did Boogie Nights, Magnolia, There'll Be Blood, The Master, Inherent Vice, and of course, what was that movie? Licorice Pizza. Of course, Josh Santee, who did Uncut Gems, and also his brother did Benny Safdie, who did Smashing Machine, which I also like. Joachim Trier, who did The Worst Person in the World, which I did see a couple of years ago. Yet to see Sentimental Value. And Chloe Zhao, who could be the first woman to win two Best Picture Oscars, and also could be the first Asian to pull off that feat, which could be hugely monumental. But for my pick, I'm going for Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another for Best Director. And for Best Adapted Screenplay, we have Magnolia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, and we have One Battle After Another and Train Dreams. Magnolia, even though I do like the works of Yorgos Lanthimos, even though this is not exactly my favourite that came out, the collaboration with him and Emma Stone, but I definitely do understand why a lot of people do gravitate towards this. Particularly, it has his trademark weird, kitschy, idiosyncratic style of filmmaking. Frankenstein, definitely like this movie. Definitely one of the stronger films from Guillermo del Toro, who's definitely one of the more consistent, big budget directors at the moment. As Hamlet, of course, great film. I definitely did enjoy it, despite how depressing it is. One Battle After Another, a second adaptation of Thomas Pynchon's biography, particularly also by P.T. Anderson, who did Inherent Vice. And this one's based on Vinland, which is a little bit more loose, considering how dense and surreal Thomas Pynchon's tend to be. And Train Dreams, again, I've heard a lot of good stuff. So I'm thinking that One Battle After Another definitely has that one locked in the bag. For Best Original Screenplay, we have Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, My Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Again, the film director of It Was Just an Accident, Jafar Panini, even though he's definitely doing a massive press tour for the movie in America at the moment, he is, unfortunately, after the press tour wraps up, he's going to be in jail for a year for basically criticizing the Ayatollah in Iran. And I'm hoping he'll be free, and of course people will be free from the Ayatollah rule, which of course the protests are still going on as I'm recording this video. And again, for anyone out in Iran or has any relatives out there, just let you know I am on their side. And of course we have My Supreme, Unstandable, and Sentimental Value, Blue Moon. But I am betting for Best Original Screenplay, it's going to go to Sinners for Best Original Screenplay by Ryan Coogler. Now we go to the music category. We have Dear Me from Diane Warren's Relentless, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy by Via Valdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Again, Dear Me is definitely a rock ballad, a power ballad from Diane Warren, who's again one of the biggest Hollywood celebrities to yet win an Oscar, even though she has written like loads of stuff. Even she written I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Aerosmith from the Armageddon soundtrack. There's Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I think the only one that got the #1 hit from billboards and quite a lot of other countries. Again, very cool, very infectious, and very nice pop of music. I Lie to You, a song that starts off slow, and once the genre just shifts, as in it just goes completely off the rails. It's one of the most off the rails and one of the most out of body songs definitely to come out this year, and particularly in that scene where that it takes place in Sinners, where there's all the spirits of the past and the future all get summoned into that one Mississippi town hall, and they all dance. Again, one of the coolest, most beautifully shot scenes. There's Sweet Dreams of Joy, again, pretty nice and beautiful songs. And also Train Dreams from Train Dreams, which is done by Nick Cave. You know, from Bad Seeds, Nick Cave and Bad Seeds, particularly on albums like Murder Ballad, Skeleton Tree, and all that, and Push the Sky Away. Again, I do recommend this album, particularly songs like Where the Wild Roses Go, with Kylie Minogue. Brilliant song, but very disturbing at the end, if you know what I mean. So, even though I could go with Golden, I think it's going to go to Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. I think this is a song I definitely do come back to quite a lot, a bit unintentionally, even though the movie is definitely really good. I definitely do like I Lie to You, particularly how it works perfectly with that scene. Particularly Train Dreams from Train Dreams, particularly I'm starting to get into a bit of Nick Cave at the moment. And for best score, we have Magnolia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I feel like it's Sinners is going to win for that one. Particularly, it's going to be deferred for Ludwig Göransson, who's won it for Oppenheimer. He's won it for Black Panther, the first one. There's also One Battle After Another by Radiohead guitarist Johnny Greenwood, which I definitely did like, particularly the track Trust Device. There's Hamnet by what was his name? He did on the he did on the Nature of Daylight, which I've completely forgotten his name on for Mac Rickner, which again I imagine it could brush some Oscar voters away, given the weird laws about best score, like not using pre-recorded music. Frankenstein, I think by Alexandre Desplat being the frequent collaborator of the more recent stuff by Guillermo del Toro, which is stuff I really like. And Magnolia, which is from the same composer who did Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, and I think he also did The Favourite as well from the other Yorgos' films. Particularly in that scene where Emma Stone's character gets kidnapped and the very brash, very industrial sounding horns just completely crescendoed around the screen, which is again some really intense music. But I feel like it's going to be Sinners who's going to win for best score at the end of the day. For best international film, we have It Was Just an Accident from France, Sentimental Value from Norway, Surat from Spain, The Secret Agent from Brazil, The Voice of Hinijab from Tunisia. I feel like it's going to go to Sentimental Value from Norway, in my opinion, given the absolute dominance it has in the Oscars. That's going to be a definite winner. And also, very interestingly, I love to point out that even though the director is Iranian, it is represented under France being It Was Just an Accident. I'm guessing it was due to France's political asylum rules or something, or he was based out of France when it happened, or France doesn't have the best relationship with the Ayatollah or something. But again, something really interesting to point out. There's also Surat from Spain, which is gaining a lot of attention. Secret Agent from Brazil, which could also win, but I'm sticking with Sentimental Value for that one, as in I'm locked it in. And The Voice of Hinijab, which again I'm very proud and somewhat a little bit surprised that the Academy did nominate it for that one. Particularly the movie does depict Israel in the really poor light, which is very understandable. It's basically about the Red Crescent trying to help a girl who's being surrounded by the IDF. Again, some really bleak and very harrowing stuff, particularly in the Venice Film Festival, where it got a 20-minute long standing ovation, like the longest in any festival's history, which is again a marvel in its own achievement. So again, for international film, I'm sticking with Sentimental Value from Norway. For animated feature, we have Akro, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Lil Emily, and the character of Rain, Zootopia 2. What's also, again, a titty bit surprising is that Demon Slayer didn't get nominated in this category, even though there was some minor criticism here and there, particularly the pacing and the overdoing of flashbacks. Also, Chainsaw Man, the Rez arc movie, didn't get nominated, even though it was considered the best reviewed film of the year by Letterboxd. And I feel like it may have gone to K-pop Demon Hunters, even though I imagine Zootopia 2 would be an unsurprising winner, but I feel like I'm going to have to stick with K-pop Demon Hunters for that one. And for documentary feature, we have Come and See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through the Rocks, Mr. Nobody vs. Putin, The Alabama Solution, and The Perfect Neighbor. To run through the documentaries, Come See Me in the Good Light is about a trans poet. The Cutting Through the Rocks is about a teacher who runs for the local government in Iran, while also teaching girls how to ride motorbikes and all that. And Mr. Nobody First Against Putin, which is again about a teacher who witnesses firsthand about how Mr. Putin is essentially grooming the entire Russian school system to basically either praise or ignore the war in Ukraine. The Alabama Solution is about the inmates in the death row in Alabama, and The Perfect Neighbor, particularly, which is on Netflix right now, which is about the stand your ground laws in Florida and what consequences does it have on everyone. So I think given a lot of hype at the moment, I feel like it's going to have to go to Perfect Neighbor for Best Documentary Feature. For Best Costume Design, we have Avatar, Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Mighty Supreme, and Sinners. What I find very surprising about this category, it nominated Avatar, Fire and Ash, even though I don't have any real problem about the movie, but really for its costume design, even though I imagine almost everyone outside of the human characters are all in motion capture gowns, but I imagine they may have like some really big pieces or maybe some clothing just to identify who they are on set or something, but I find that giving a movie with that heavy amount of motion capture a costuming nomination is a bit odd for my opinion. I'm also a little bit surprised that Wicked 2 didn't get nominated for either that or production design. Even if we're doing that at the bare minimum, it could have got these two nominations, but it didn't. And again, for costume work, I'm backing that Sinners is going to win for Best Costume, but I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, Frankenstein would win for that category. And for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, we have Frankenstein, Kokoro, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. I am backing for this one, a Frankenstein movie by Guillermo del Toro, particularly how they created the monster being portrayed by Jake Elordi, who kind of reminds me a little bit of the creature from the Scolism video from Tool. Again, a very similar design. I haven't seen any make-upping work from Kokoro or Ugly Stepsisters, which I couldn't say that much about it, unfortunately. Sinners, okay, and The Smashing Machine, understandable. Again, I am backing for Frankenstein to win for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Best Production Design, there's Frankenstein, Hamnet, Mighty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I am backing that Sinners is going to win for Best Production Design in my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised, let's say, if Frankenstein were to win for that category. But I am backing that Sinners is going to win for that category. For Best Sound, we have Frankenstein, F1, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surat. Again, I think, in my opinion, the best sound work, in my opinion, out of all these films is probably Sinners, but I wouldn't be surprised if One Battle After Another would have won, particularly on these trust device thingamajigs they have, but I think if it's sound design throughout the entire film, rather than the interesting plot device, I feel like it could go to Sinners for best sound. Editing, we have F1, Mighty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I feel like it's going to go to One Battle After Another for that one, considering the chase scene that takes place on the southwest hills, and it goes up and down, and how it cuts to Chase Infinity's character, a member of the Christmas Adventurer, and of course Leonardo DiCaprio's character, as they all drive separate cars and they all go up and down, and how that was edited is just complete masterwork in my opinion. We have cinematography, best cinematography, Frankenstein, Mighty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Again, an interesting snub that they didn't include Hamnet in this movie because the cinematography there is absolutely gorgeous. But again, that's not the world we live in. I feel like it's going to have to go to Sinners, particularly it's filmed on 70mm, it's filmed on that it's filmed essentially on the same stuff like Christopher Nolan does, as in 70mm cameras, 65mm, which is also an IMAX format. Again, Particularly on the "I lied to you" sequence and how that was shot as a oneer, which is again some of the most extraordinary things you typically see in a cinema all year round. And I'm also very surprised that Train Dreams was shot digitally. Like, you can get that quality out of a digital camera. I'm just completely astounded by it, considering how very gorgeous it is. Of course, there's Frankenstein and My Supreme. Frankenstein is definitely understandable. And My Supreme, okay, cinematography is fine in that one. And One Battle of Another, the cinematography again is definitely gorgeous, particularly it's done on 35mm VistaVision. But I am backing Sinners to win cinematography. For visual effects, we have Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, also Formula 1, Jurassic World, Rebirth, Sinners, and The Lost Bus. I also find very surprising that Jurassic World Rebirth got nominated. I think this is the first time the Jurassic World era films got any nomination at all, which is again a little bit surprising, but not the most critically the best films out there. But I'm a little, even though the first one back in '93 is an absolute masterstroke. The second one back in '97 got some nominations, and the third one I don't think even got any nominations. So I think we could be in for an upset for a dinosaur winner, like Godzilla -1. But there's also Avatar, which could continue its hot streak with 3 wins in a row. Sinners could be the winner, and there's also a dark horse, The Lost Bus by Paul Greengrass. Also some incredible snubs, like The Wicked wasn't nominated at all, or something like Fantastic Four wasn't even nominated, let alone anywhere to be seen in that category, let alone Superman. Again, if no superheroes are going to be nominated next year, particularly we have Supergirl, we have Spider-Man, and Avengers Doomsday, then it's going. I think the superheroes' relevance at the Oscars is pretty much all but over if they don't get nominated. But I'm going to have to back Sinners to win for Best Visual Effects, even though I wouldn't be surprised if Avatar were to win another Visual Effects Oscar again. But I am backing that it's going to win for Visual Effects being Sinners. For Best Live Action Short Film, we have A Friend of Dorothy, Butcher's Dame, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, and Two People Exchanging as Saliva. Ugh. Again, I don't want to know what Two People Exchanging Saliva is about, which sounds a bit risque, but I imagine A Friend of Dorothy could win for that one. Best Animated Short, we have Butterfly, Forever Green, Retirement Plan, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, The Three Sisters. I imagine, I don't know, The Retirement Plan could win for that one. Got Documentary Short, we have All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, Children No More, The Devil is Busy, Perfectly Strangeness. All the Empty Rooms, which is a really big one on Netflix at the moment, particularly it's about the empty bedrooms, about the victims of school shootings. Armed Only with a Camera, about a photojournalist in war zones who unfortunately was killed in action. Children No More, about the children that were deeply affected by the genocide in Gaza. We have The Devil is Busy, which is about a Georgia abortion clinic around the time when Roe v. Wade was collapsing. And of course, they were being heckled on a daily basis by pro-life protesters. Perfect, and also a more surreal one being Perfectly Strangeness, which is about goats in Chile that discover an abandoned space observatory, and they can't figure out about that. So I think it's All the Empty Rooms is going to win for documentary short for that one. And of course, the Oscars haven't introduced the first category since 2001 being Best Animated Feature, being this time it's Best Casting. We have Hamnet, My Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Secret Agent. It's going to be awarding the casting director of the movie, even though I did learn it's not about the cast ensemble, as in the best performance overall by a cast, which that's what I initially thought it was going to go to. But I feel like it's going to go to Sinners, even though I don't fully understand, let alone grasp the concept of best casting. But here we are for it though. Sinners for best casting. So, what do you think of my thoughts on the Oscar nominations? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky Threads, and Letterboxd in the slide rolls. And bye.